All right, this is for Heart Shape Booty Day 18. I have two great exercises for you and a wonderful active stretch at the end. So we are going to need two props today. One is a lower elevation like a step bench or the edge of a sofa, edge of a bed, edge of a coffee table. And we're going to want a higher elevation. And if you don't have a plyo box, don't worry about it. Try your actual dining table or office table height type of table. If you don't even have that, don't worry about it. We will find something to work. Remember, it's not often that people have the exact same prop. Okay, so whenever we need to set up with a prop, we improvise and we make it work for us as long as we're feeling the intended muscles being worked, okay, by either adjusting our body to the prop or adjusting the prop to our body. All right, so if you only have something lower, don't worry about it. I will give you the option to work with that. So one of the great things about the very first exercise, which is the high bridge, is that it's also a corrective exercise. Corrective exercise meaning that it doesn't mean that you only do it for correction. All the corrective exercises or things that are labeled corrective are great exercises in and of themselves. It just allows us to give an extra focus on something that we want to work on, whether it's for mobility or strength. So in this case, we're going to work on our high bridge with a attention to whether our lower back and our glutes are actually working together as intended. So if you feel that your lower back is tightening up in this high bridge, you're doing it correctly. Okay, so but both of the exercises, of course, are going to be glute focused, so we'll send all our intention down to our booty. Okay, so the first one, the high bridge. Remember, the bridge also is one of the staple exercises. So if you have a special interest in strengthening your lower back, or you already have lower back pain that comes and goes, keep this one in mind to come back to. Okay, so the first one here, the first step is to elevate our heels or the bottom of our bottom of our foot. Does that make sense? Against the ledge. If you're wearing tennis shoes and you have push, you could try right on the actual heel, and you're going to need to press down, so don't do it unless you have shoes. Okay, so otherwise place the bottom of your foot towards the heel against this ledge. Now we're going to make sure we're able to put some pressure against that ledge. Okay, so mine will rock a little if I press too hard, but this is why I do have it sort of against something. Okay, so maybe you have it against the wall. Okay, now remember always before we get into the bridge to first set our abs by pressing the belly button to the ground, squeeze through the PP muscles. You can have your arms out at the side or in the elbow for light support, and we're going to contract the glutes, use the glutes to come up, okay, into a full hip extension. Now, because of the position of this elevated feet, it's going to kick in, it's going to recruit your lower back muscles to get into full hip extension, okay? So that comes as default and bonus, okay? So we want to make sure the intention goes to the glutes, you're feeling your lower back contribute in this case, and that your full hip extension means that if you were to put a toy car up here, it would just roll, slide down because of that straight line that you're making. So really engage through everything, and when you pause at the top and you're ready to come down to repeat, don't plop down, okay? Don't do that. And you also don't have to come all the way to the floor either. Just from your high bridge, come down one vertebrae at a time from your top, and then pause right when you feel a nice little ab work here, and then that will give reprieve to your glutes and fire through again. Okay, there's really only a couple ways that you want to level this up, because the weights in this case is too awkward a position. So instead you could hold your isometric 10-second holds more often during your rounds, or also include the booty band above your knees to give yourself that extra tension, and then just do more sets and more rounds. Okay, second exercise, if I can remember what it was, is, oh yes, the bridge march. So we're going to really burn out with the bridge today, but the stretch is going to help relieve you. So bridge march, we don't need anything, we're gonna do it on the floor. And this one, you do want to make sure that you're able to dig into the floor without having your feet slide. Okay, so it should be this way. Terrible, terrible. Okay, so from here, you do kind of want to be resting on your heel for this one. Set up as before to begin your bridge. Come up, okay, but we're going to then drive that knee up. It's going to really drive that glute engagement as well as your hamstrings, okay? Then lower, don't come all the way to the floor, and basically march, right? Bridge march. So this one, you do get to alternate, okay? So those are both going to give you a great burnout of the glutes. Now for the 90 stretch, so we talked at length about the 90-90 stretch before, okay? This one, we're going to actually have an opportunity to focus just on one leg at a time, mainly, and focus just on that 90 position. Remember that full 90-90 is a lifelong journey, like I said. So on this one, what we're looking for is to practice just still practicing squaring off, okay? So bring your one leg up on your elevation and get that into your 90-90 position, okay, as much as possible. Your yoga block will be to help you in either position, whether under the knee or under the ankle. It all depends on the elevation that you're using, okay? So it depends on how much of a lift that you need for yourself for the 90-90. You want your hips to be pressed back versus tucked under on this, and you want to be tall and able to breathe normally, and most of all, you want to be square, okay? So what we don't want here is rounding, losing that straight spine, okay? What we also don't want is to relax so much out of being pressed square that we open out to the side, okay? First of all, rude. Secondly, you're really needing to work on that first part of staying square. Now from here, of course, once we start, again, remaining our normal breath, straight spine, once we're able to come forward, you'll engage further. But if you're just up here and fighting to stay square, that's where you're at. That's where you'll stay and work on that. Wherever you are is where you are. Now if I show you from this side, what we're really trying to stretch here, because this is not a pigeon stretch, it's not a passive stretch, we're trying to get into the deepest part of this bent leg, okay? So if you were to kind of feel for like your most meaty part of your glutes and just x-ray vision right underneath in order to really stretch out those joints, so not just a flexibility stretch, then that's where you want to send your intentions, okay? And just hold this. And of course, you know what? One side is going to be different than the other, so pay attention to that as well. All right, give those a go. See you next post.